Good morning, my friends. It's your old pal PeaceLoveMusic with another Let's Go morning show brought to you live by DeOrganized Media in partnership with BitcoinLive Decentralized Broadcasting. It is Friday morning, the 22nd of November. Bitcoin's rising. We could see $100,000 Bitcoin during this live broadcast today. That would just be an excellent way to start into the weekend. Not sure if that's going to happen, though. We'll see. It seems to be kind of consolidating around that 98, 99K for a little bit. My ticker didn't stay correct. I hope everything else changed. Yep, the other ones all look good. So my numbers for the day are a little off, I guess. It was 98 something, a 98 change. Stacks is at 195. Again, this is all not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. We provide news and information for our community, and always make your own, do your own research. Never invest money you cannot afford to lose, and do not base your investment decisions based on my opinion about anything. I often get it wrong, and even when I get it right, sometimes my timing is wrong. Top three gainers for the last 24 hours on CoinMarketCap are XRP, XLM, and Optimism. Interesting seeing those three take off. Less memey today than it's been the last week or so. Bitcoin's hanging in around 98.5. The last I looked, Stacks is at $1.95. It did drop down to the number 40 position on CoinMarketCap. Fear and Greed coming in at 88, getting hot in here, ladies and gentlemen. Stacks calendar for the day. You got your event calendar. Hero, these times are all off. Hero, we gotta fix the Stacks calendar. Not sure what's going on with it, but the events of the day, we have the weekly SIP call. That's at 11 a.m. Good for Bitcoin, I believe, is at 2 p.m., followed by Stacks Africa at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and Stacks Nigeria at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And the Purple Pill Friday weekly community hangout with Dan and Brad is at 5 p.m. That runs from 5 to 7 every Friday night, closing out the week strong. With some great vibes there. And jumping into the Miss Gecko calendar for Friday, we have memes on Stacks with O'Millities at 11 a.m. this morning. The Friday wrap up at 1 p.m. on X with Landy and Honey Badger. The bus stop with Jay East, Mains, and Miss Gecko. Building the Future, Creative Owls, and with Creative Owls and Tang Poco. Get to the Comics with Osmond Collects. Artfully Fed at 8 p.m. on X with Chanelem, Safi, I think it's Sapphire, and Cali Speedway. Bar Pushes Radio at 9 p.m. on X with Dakota Strange and Omi Wanda Homie. Aloha Friday, the Real Uncommon True podcast on YouTube and X with D and Hinano. And that closes out your week. That is the Friday show. You could actually go over and you should definitely be following Miss Gex if you're hanging out in the Twitter spaces or X spaces over the weekend, because there's a bunch of shows on the weekend as well. Old Peace Love takes the weekend off as best he can these days, as time allows, and I really appreciate getting those opportunities. Best news of the day came out yesterday. SEC Chair Gary Gensler is stepping down. Good fucking riddance. Get the fuck out of here. Scumbag. I said it. President-elect Trump's media company files trademark for TruthFi, a cryptocurrency payment platform. Seems gimmicky to me. I'd rather use, Boom Smart links and, different. There's lots of functionality on Stacks L2, Bitcoin L2 already. Someone should let Trump know we don't need TruthFi. But it's still cool that they're trying, $7.13 trillion asset manager Charles Schwab's incoming CEO says, I have not bought crypto and now I feel silly. You're not the only one, sir, but I don't feel too silly about my accumulation phase. 21 shares in VanEck file for a Solana SOL ETF with the CBOE. Bullish if you're holding some Solana. Wish I held more than I do. But kudos to you guys who stuck with it. MicroStrategy raises $3 billion to purchase more Bitcoin. This guy's just getting more and more money for his Bitcoin to buy Bitcoin for his project daily. It's insane. Kudos to you, Michael Saylor. President-elect Trump's Crypto Advisory Council is expected to set up strategic Bitcoin reserve. That's interesting. Reserve. I thought it was going to be DOD. Maybe it will be. Maybe it won't be. U.S. Senator Cynthia Lummis calls for the U.S. government to sell its gold and buy Bitcoin. Yeah, that ship is leaving the port, people. Get on it. We're going to be left behind. We're going to be left behind if we don't do this now as a nation. Bitcoin miner Marathon Digital raises $1 billion to purchase more Bitcoin. That's $4 billion in the last two news items. Spot Bitcoin ETFs surpass $100 billion in assets. You guys seeing a trend here? SIP 029 stacks Bitcoin halving alignment proposal vote is live now, and I should put up that QR code so you guys can get over to stx.eco right there. Just scan the QR code, or you can go to stx.eco and vote yes for SIP 29 and make it a smooth launch for SBTC. That's very important for our ecosystem to get that done. Do not buy bot, or maybe you should. I don't know. Again, don't take investment advice from me. The bot trap token launched on Monday. I gotta fix this crawl as an exercise in how to run a bot trap. But fast blocks made it hard. It wasn't just the fast blocks. Actually, there was a bug in the in something on STX City, which we made them aware. We did not exploit it on purpose. We made them aware of it, and but it made the experiment not go the way we thought it would. But there is now a token bot trading in the bonding curve, and going to do something for the community with it if we can. Let us know what you think you want us to do with the bot token. Actually, we're taking suggestions. We're not sure what to do with it. We can do whatever we decide to do with it. We can make it an entirely just community-oriented project and do that. So if you're interested in, you have ideas, share them with us. SIP 30 panel discussion was yesterday. We had a great talk about SIP 30 with Yannick and Kyron from Leather Wallet, and Mike Jagdeo. Hero was with us, Gary Reiger. We got great participation from the crowd. Lots of great questions from Douglas, Zombie 3D, and Trippin' Monkey had some great questions for us. Vinny was very active. Lots of great questions from the community there. Thank you all. And it does seem like this is a non-consensus changing SIP. So there's not going to be a vote, but it does seem like they're working on some cool stuff to increase and improve wallet functionality, and establish a standard practice for that. Interesting stuff. Today, that was, I'm back behind on my. So the When Walls Break album launch is live on Gated in a new groundbreaking development, allowing artists and creators to retain control of their work, distribution, and community engagement. The groundwork is laid for a new paradigm in digital art creation. Get over to gated.so, find the link for When Walls Break, mint some of these awesome songs, mint an album. If you mint the album, you get special artwork from Reese Swanepoel, our good friend of the show and good friend in the space. Boom, Ghostly Transactions, a regular NFT, or perhaps an opportunity for future benefits on Boom Wallet, minting now on gamma.io. Head over to boom.money, put your email address in, and get on that wait list, and you'll know when Dan launches Boom Wallet. You can participate early, and if you mint one of those Ghostly Transaction NFTs, only 7 stacks on Gamma right now, they may come with future benefits for Boom Wallet users down the line. So it's a great way to support a really interesting developing project in the space. And get over to zeroauthority.xyz. There's a bunch of bounties on there. I didn't actually count them this morning. It was 8 the last time I looked. You can earn many different tokens, including STX, Rue, Leo. I think there's one on there for Welsh right now, too. A bunch of stuff on there. Get over there and participate. And so let me actually just say, I got some people in the chat. What's up, Squid Fin? How you doing today, brother? GPSC, homie. Yeah, I don't have much XLM. I think I have 0 actually. I might have an old wallet that has some, but I'm not sure if I even have access to it anymore. But rooting for you, Squid. Aero Gamer, what's up, man? We got to fix that calendar. Anthony, do we need a business development team instead of Munib trying to shill it? I think what Munib's doing is just fine. Do we need a business development team? I don't know. I'm definitely trying to develop business around here myself, to be honest. Because we need to set the right time zones on the page. I have the time zone set on events for East Coast time. It's all messed up in there somehow. I don't know. Well, if not, you'll have to show me or send me a screenshot or something. GPSC. DeOrganized is where it's at. Thank you guys. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Hattie, what's up? Hattie's coming on to chat with us in a minute. Why is it? Stacks gives you BTC when you stack it. That is actually something we need to talk about more, Anthony. You're absolutely right. People don't realize that all you have to do is hold STX, lock it in, and you're earning Bitcoin. That actually is something very important we need to let people know about. I have some great guests this morning. We got Jack Binswitch in the house.
What's up, man?
Good morning, Jack. How are you today?
I'm ready for Bitcoin to break 100,000.
Drinking so yeah, man. Where are we at? Did it do it while I was rambling?
No, not yet. We're gonna get there though. It's coming.
We got my right hand man, Hattie in the house, looking sharp as ever.
Good morning.
A little nervous. Am I about to get whacked over here? Got the hitman in the house.
No, it's always the same.
I'm gonna have to say that every time from now on. It's
Well,
the black shirt.
You've got the check shirt. I've got the black shirt.
Yeah, that's it.
We're just waiting. We're waiting for somebody, aren't we?
Yeah, we need some. We're out here we're naked almost.
I'm waiting for something. It's naked, my shirt.
Available for people. We got Jacob from Hermetica. Jacob, how are you today, man? Thank you for joining us today.
Friends. Of course.
How are you?
Nice to be here. Doing well. I mean, as you guys are talking, actually, Bitcoin. Wouldn't it be funny if Bitcoin just goes to like 99,500 or whatever and then dumps? That seems like what's happening.
Oh, we're down to 97 on CoinMarketCap right now. So maybe won't happen.
Isn't it funny how 97 is low now?
Right.
It's nuts, actually. That's insane. I feel pretty good about it, to be honest with you. I'm not selling yet, so these are almost trivial.
What do you sell it for? That's the question. That's the question people need to come to terms with. Do you sell it for real estate that's going to devalue against it? Do you sell it for fiat? People have so much to learn. I mean, it's just a new paradigm, man.
That isn't.
Well, yeah.
You're right. It's like, do you buy real estate's not a bad investment. It's not a bad investment, but it might not be as good of an investment as Bitcoin.
Right.
Well, it depends when, right? Like real estate is a good investment at some times, but it's not the best investment at others. And I think real estate in general is quite overvalued. It really depends what you want to do, right? Like folks ask me, how should I invest? How should I structure my portfolio? There's no one answer. There's like, What do you want to do? Where are you in your life? How old are you? You want to have kids? You want to have family? You want to be a baller? Do you want to, have a simple life? Very different portfolios.
It's different for every person's Michael says, Blockface says, use it as collateral. And that's actually what I intend to do with it eventually. I'm never going to sell my Bitcoin. I'm just going to, I'll leverage it to invest if I decide I want to do that. But yeah, I'm not going to sell, just so the number can keep going up forever as far as I'm concerned. And I'll just do other stuff with it. Hopefully.
I mean, that sounds really cool, but I would caution folks to do that unless you really know what you're doing, especially not with your whole stack, because if you leverage it, you introduce a liquidation point. And,
sure,
you know, we have seen, for example, the COVID crash went from 12,000 to 3,000. You're wiped out in that case. And
right. Even if you're at half, even if you're at 50%, you're wiped out, you know? So I'm very risk averse. I have 7 children, you know, I have 2 still in the house, but I have 7 children. I'm sure I'll have grandchildren in the next 5 years. I can't imagine I won't have grandchildren within the next 5 years. No pressure on my kids, by the way. I'm not trying to like push that on them. I just expect it's probably likely. I have 2 that are married already, so likely. But you know, I don't want to lose any of that. I want to push that all forward to them. So my risk tolerance for borrowing against my Bitcoin will probably be like 10% at most of my value. I would never come close. You know, and now I'm knock on wood, we're not going to have a 90% retrace on Bitcoin.
Who knows? you just can't know. Like
Right.
I've been in the market too long. Like it could be nuclear war with Russia, and all of a sudden everybody wants to sell everything, and it goes to like very low for a very short period of time.
Right, but if there's a nuclear war, what are you doing with the cash you're selling your Bitcoin for?
Well, I mean, cash is definitely something that you want to have in nuclear war. I think actually, if the shit hit the fan, what I want is a bunch of cash, and then obviously your supplies and guns and stuff like that. Bitcoin is probably not. I mean, Bitcoin is good as store of value, but as a practical means of exchange, it's very bad, especially where I am. Nobody wants it, so I think cash is still very good to have.
It's actually the grease that makes everything else move. You know, there's a reason why they're constantly devaluing the dollar. It's actually creates more liquidity in the markets and should generate economic activity. So yeah, I'm not hating on cash, but in a nuclear war, I probably don't want your cash. You know, I'd rather have your guns or your ammunition or your bleach so I can purify my water or whatever, you know?
Yeah, right. But there's always going to be a medium of exchange, right? Like even in war, people want to trade. And if that medium of exchange is the dollar, which it still is, and it will continue to be for, I think, decades, hopefully, not some other currency, then you want that. You don't want to store your value in it. You don't want your wealth in it, but you definitely want it on hand to buy stuff because other people want it. As much as we are Bitcoiners that Bitcoin's the be on end all, and I'm with you. I think that Bitcoin will be that medium of exchange and unit of account at some point. It is not there yet, and the rest of the world does not agree with our take yet. So I definitely have cash.
Yeah, of course. You know, I actually keep probably like $1,000 in my drawer, you know, just to have, because I'm constantly handing out cash to my kids. So, you know, I have to have some cash.
That dad life, man.
So apparently the new thing is for the kids all have debit cards that their parents give them.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm giving you a debit card to go just buy whatever online you want to do. But I guess, you know, she's probably going to wear me down like she does with everything else, you know.
The debit card can't go below 0, though. That's the difference between credit and debit. Debit can't go below 0 unless you give an overdraft. So they can only spend the money they have.
Does it overdraft? I don't even know.
Only if you set it up, of course, as the parent. But Jacob, I wanted to touch base on, I wanted to ask a question. For Bitcoin for us to use it, do we need to have a lower, so do we need to go from 100 million to 1 billion to break divisible, the Bitcoin, to make it easier to flow?
make a unit in Satoshis?
Yeah, well, there was a throw out that Satoshis eventually will be $1. So it'll be a Satoshi is $1. And then obviously one Satoshi you break down by another 100 to make it cents, essentially.
Oh yeah, you're lagging.
Yeah, my internet's bad. I think that was better. I think that potentially, I think there's also a world, and this is actually interesting to think about and discuss. There's a world where Bitcoin is not the medium of exchange, but Bitcoin is the collateral asset for a new banking system. And we actually go back to what was in the US for some time, the free banking era, where you essentially have multiple dollars that are all on the gold standard, but issued by different entities, different institutions, and they're actually fractional reserve. As much as that's like hearsay in Bitcoin, right? Fractional reserve does make sense in an economic setting because that allows the expansion of credit and expansion of the money supply, which is actually really good for business. And so I could see a world where, I'm talking also my book, right? Like Hermetica is the first dollar on the digital gold standard. Like that's what actually right now it's fully reserved. There's no plans to make it fractionally reserved anytime, actually. I think fully reserved is the way to do it. But you can see a world where maybe in 50 years, there's so much trust in the institutions that it allows for some fractional reserve. And then we actually have a unit of account that is not Bitcoin, but a dollar that is backed by Bitcoin, if it makes sense. And I guess the unit of account would still be Bitcoin, but it would not be fully reserved. So you could actually expand the money supply and therefore expand the units of Bitcoin. We're not, because if you have a fixed money supply, that actually is quite challenging for trade and economic expansion. A fixed asset as collateral, that makes a lot of sense, obviously.
Yeah, you could see that being a thing. Definitely. I might not live to see it, but you could see it happening if we're going to wind up, with Bitcoin doing what we all think it's going to do. 100%.
Well, you said if the institutions are trusted, build up trust, but I think it's actually more that they're open and verifiably reliable. Yeah. So we won't have to trust them, and then it makes sense.
There's always a little bit of trust, right? Like there always is, like in institutions there's some trust, but I think yes, we're going into a world, and again, I think we're pioneering this. We're going to be showing our reserves, our full transparency of what everything's going on in the protocol, so people can, as you said, just verify it themselves, right? Like how much Bitcoin is there? I don't have to trust your word. I can go.
Exactly. Same thing with like real world asset tokenization and stuff like that. It's verifying what's actually there, which we might have a little bit of a shock to the system when they have to actually prove what's actually there right now, because there may not be quite what they've been letting us think that's there for in
like
certain
carbon credits.
like carbon credits or gold.
Where are the carbon credits?
Yeah.
Right. You see all those nice planes and limos and stuff that go to Davos. There's where your carbon credits went.
No, I mean there's an open market for carbon credits at the moment, and there's different pricing depending on whether it's a European carbon credit, whether it's an American carbon credit, Australian or Chinese. There's different prices for all of them. So there's a whole big marketplace just for carbon credits.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a little strange.
Yeah.
That's probably what they think about Bitcoin. They probably sit around and talk about Bitcoin. They're like, yeah, it's interesting, but it's a little strange.
No, fair enough, man.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. That probably is exactly how it goes. Although carbon credit seems more like a scheme, right? Like we don't need them unless there's an establishment saying we need them. It doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah. It's also, they're created by audit firms, right? Like audit firms say, okay, yeah, you've planted this amount of trees. Here's your carbon credits. Go at it. And you can sell it to the syndicate, whatever, do something that is, I don't even know. I think it's just one big nonsense, to be honest. But
it seemed like the plan to to move us off the petrodollar to another malleable standard that they could mess with.
I think it goes beyond that. I think it's the plan to move us into a slavery system that is guised as good for the environment and morally upright. But it's really it's just a slavery system where you have a central entity that is allowed to issue a specific credit that you have to abide by, and part of that is moving away from petrol chemicals, because it allows them to control it better, because if it's all electric, then that can be more easily controlled, right? But that's just one move away from meat.
Move away from meat. Yeah. I totally agree. The plan is control, and by any means necessary, really. But it does seem very dystopian as far as what they seem to be trying to establish as a global, on a global scale. And I think that the recent election was actually a resounding rejection of that. That's really what happened in the U.S. And a lot of people from outside of the U.S. that I engage with, again, anecdotally, we're all rooting for this outcome as well. Like, the people know. People understand. I mean, they may not know all of the deep nitty gritty of it all, but they understand that there's something wrong with top-down centralized power structures, right? It's not.
Well, it hasn't been working out very well for your average person, has it? Like, that's you're just past the point where you can pretend like there's any other outcome other than you work harder and harder and harder to have less and less and less. So that's the ultimate teacher, right? I mean, if you look at history, just look at European history. When does the revolutions really foment? When do they happen? When people start starving, when they're sitting there and there's just no, you watch your kids, go hungry. That's when people have enough, and this is basically what you're seeing now. It's just not, it's not violent. It's that this is the whole point of elections, right? That's why the system is beautiful. Is it's a proxy for war. It's a proxy for violence. You're doing this peacefully, right, in order to change things. And so it's really easy to forget that when the establishment's just trying to teach everyone about carbon credits and bullshit, instead of like, hey, you have a pretty good system you can work within here, so why don't we just go ahead and teach you how this works so you can be effective with it, right? That's the underlying issue there. But yeah, it doesn't work for people.
Slavery doesn't work for people.
Yeah, it just, and now why do you think that the internet has become such a hot button issue with governments? It's you can't control, you truly can't control the narrative. People have a way to express free speech, so you have to just try to control.
That's the counter force, right? Like it doesn't work for people, but if they're not allowed to talk about it, then it creates an environment for propaganda that can really manipulate your mind. And that's why Elon buying X was, I think, changing the trajectory of humanity to some degree. Because if you have free speech, then we come together and we talk about it and we say, that we don't like this, and then it changes.
Exactly right. If Elon hadn't bought Twitter, we wouldn't be here doing this broadcast right now.
Right.
I wouldn't have ever actually integrated with the community like I have, and I wouldn't know you guys like I do. I would know of you, but I wouldn't know you. So he gave us a chance to actually get together on a personal level and actually explore where our commonalities are. And I want to actually, this segues right well into Gary Reiger, who we all know, who maybe has a little bit of a alternate perspective, but he is playing a little bit of, he says he's playing devil's advocate here. What's the argument for countries like Switzerland, where everyone makes money thanks to healthy financials, or the small Middle Eastern countries living high on life off oil money? Just playing out devil's advocate. So I think what he's saying is, centralization seems to work for certain circumstances, to some degree. But I don't know if that's really even, it's anomalous, but none of that works without the rest of everything outside of those spheres integrating, right? Or working on that as well, right? So Switzerland
Switzerland is one of the most decentralized countries in the world. I lived right next to it. I'm German. I drove through Switzerland a lot. It is the most decentralized country in that every canton, which is their state, has actually their own direct elections, so they can vote on direct policies very regularly. They all own guns, right? It's actually one of the few countries in Europe that basically everybody owns guns, and so there's a lot of decentralization in Switzerland.
Yeah, it's why they've remained neutral throughout a bunch of world wars and stuff. Even well before those wars, they remained a neutral, established, kind of self-contained state that insulated themselves to some degree. But I'm sorry, Jack. What were you saying? You were.
Oh no! I was just saying, like, it just makes me think about where we can go. When you talk about, when Jacob's talking about the individual states in Switzerland being able to, hold referendums and be very decentralized with their government, think about where we can go as a people by using blockchain, by using AI. One of the things I'm very, very excited for, and I'm sure y'all have heard about it, is if you, on X, for instance, the AI Grok, they're working on functionality where when Congress in the U.S. goes to pass one of these bills that's stacked, literally, they bring federal bills to Congress that they pull in on wagons. That's just thousands of pages that no one read, where you can just collate all this information and say, okay, this is here, this is here, this is here, this is here. So that trick's not going to work anymore, right? So then if you can add, a system of voting where it's more reliable based on blockchain, which is another idea that's being floated, you really can have so much more direct say in your governance, right? And then in the US, where there's 50 states, you could just go to a state that's kind of more in line with what you dig, right? That's kind of the beauty part of it, that it doesn't have to be homogenous. It's not supposed to be homogenous, and so I think we currently have now the technology to make republic democracy even more efficient than it's ever been, and I think that's what I'm most excited to see, definitely, because dude, like, it just starts. It's like, hey, let's name this bill. Let's make everyone happy bill. And then, it's just full of just tax wasting, giveaways for different constituencies and all these different states. And the people who are voting on it don't even know what's in the damn thing, much less the people,
Yeah. I agree in principle. I think it is a very good structure that can work, but there's also some practical limitations to it, because if you just look, for example, at crypto projects, right, which are kind of like pioneering this kind of governance, because you have token voters voting, the participation of token voters voting is absolutely dismal. Like, nobody votes because nobody really cares about the governments. They care about the number go up. Now, obviously, if it's actually influencing your life and that it's about laws that are about you and your family and your well-being, it might be different. But I think there's a needle that needs to be threaded, where how much do you actually want to vote on specific items, or do you want to actually have representation? Because representative democracy or representative governments also works if the representative is not corrupt, right? Because it's very efficient. You have to vote once, and then he takes care of the rest. But yeah, maybe we can also find a way to make representative governance more efficient through blockchain, because everything is transparent, right? Like, all the financials are transparent, etc.
I think what's missing in our current social governing models is the capacity. The consent piece is lacking. Like, you don't have a choice in whether you adhere to the outcome or not. right? You're forced to just like, so I think there needs to be an opt-out piece, at least at some organizational governance levels. You're always going to have a local government based on your geographic location, and that's going to be like you're there. So the only opt-out option there is to move, to relocate. But as we get broader and broader systems, I think that the way that we move forward with blockchain will give us the capacity to kind of pick and choose certain alliances that handle certain goods and services that we currently expect government, centralized government to do. I think that there'll be the ways to structure in a consent piece. Because right now it's violent. It's it's still ruled by the down the barrel of a gun. Like you can vote, you can have a say in the representation, but you don't really get there's no option. The choices of who you're getting to represent are picked and chosen for us before we vote. We don't actually have a say in who's representing us, and you can't opt out of that process. Like you can't say I'm not going to participate, and by my lack of participation, I'm invalidating your process. Like if nobody showed up to vote, that just empowers the people the few that do show up to vote to influence a broader outcome. Yes.
Yeah, I think with like public private key cryptography and blockchains, you could see a system where there's an almost instant feedback loop where if you're not in agreement with a specific representation, you can just opt out, and that it gets registered immediately, and you see it in real time. People not agreeing or agreeing. And
that is something I see. That's a component.
That's what I'm excited to see. I see it kind of going down that path. I mean, you're literally whatever your device is, whether it's still smartphones or whatever, you're looking at real time feedback, right? You're looking at, and it's going to increase participation, right? So I agree. If I had to game plan how I think it's going to go, I think we're more than likely going to see something that looks like that.
Yeah. Well, because our governing model was created when information moved at the speed of horse and birds, and now it's the speed of light. So we just need to move forward with that, with that technology in a way that is inclusive and available to everybody. That it's not controlled by an oligarchy of self-declared decision makers.
So
which is kind of
Peace. We had that conversation last week about. So I'm keen to hear what Jack and Jacob have to say about it. What about staked for citizenship? So you stake a portion of your Bitcoin. It doesn't leave your custody, but you stake it for citizenship. So you participate in an economy or a state or region through your Bitcoin. And then obviously you can layer on top of that your voting rights, yay, nay. You can vote yes or no based on top of that. So that gives you your vote.
Yeah, I think you're going to see that. I think the network state is inevitable anyway. And I think that that's probably something you're going to see in these parallel societies that will be, their foundational layer will be like digital money and more than likely Bitcoin, right? So I think that's probably inevitable.
We got to get Electra here when she's done with the network school. We got to get Electra on here.
I think we actually had this kind of system at some point in the US or also in other countries where it was only the quote unquote gentlemen that had land that were allowed to vote. And that makes a lot of sense in my mind because those folks actually have a vested interest in society running smoothly because they have to protect their assets, and they have also shown that they can be productive and accrue value to themselves, right? And so I think that staking some sort of value, Bitcoin obviously is the best form of value in my opinion, is that in principle is the same as the gentlemen of old being able to vote. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think at the same time, it needs to be a system where if you don't have Bitcoin, you can't stake it. Maybe you're not allowed to vote, but you definitely have the rights that a normal citizen has today, less voting.
Yeah.
And what
No,
about the government?
oh,
Sorry, Jack.
go ahead, Happy.
Okay.
No, okay, I'm gonna shut up for real this time.
Okay, sorry, Jack. I wanted to ask Jacob, because Peace and I had the conversation. It was really interesting, which Electra said as well, was if you staked your Bitcoin, you could then create a liquid version of that, and the government could then utilize that Bitcoin in a DeFi mechanism, and that would be offsets. There wouldn't be any tax. So they would use your asset to create funding to fund the government or services, depending on what you opt in or opted out to. So they could use your Bitcoin, although it's still your custody, they can use it to earn yield on it or to create something out of it.
I think that's a little bit dangerous, because that means that you can lose the Bitcoin. I would, because if there's yield or risk, then there's always the risk of losing it. I think it could be a system where it's liquid, but you just basically get the liquid token back, and you can use it throughout DeFi or other systems. But I wouldn't give it to the government, because that just leads to a tax, right? I think that the government has to be funded in different ways, and I think also the government has to be significantly lower, so it doesn't actually need that much money, because you can automate a lot of it with AI and other technologies. So what does the government actually really do? The government should serve the people and just be an administrative layer on top of that. And anything that has to do with administration can be automated to a larger degree. And so I think we should go to a world where the government is teeny tiny and nobody can make money out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the government really supposed to do? Like, at its core, it's supposed to provide services, right? Now, so there's really only a few legitimate services that a government should provide. But instead, what we have now is more akin to a mafia, where you're paying protection money. that's
exactly
like
what it is. It's
you're basically
that's exactly what it is. It's organized crime right now.
Yeah, and the IRS is potentially not actually constitutional.
No,
right? So
that's why they had to pass it. That's why they had to pass it at like Christmas time with no one there and no vote. And the creation of the Federal Reserve and the income tax was all very, very sketchy and shady, because nobody would have voted for it. It was forced upon us. We'll see what happens with this current administration. They're saying a lot of things, but we'll see. We'll see. But I mean, it's a start getting the government to be more efficient and leaner and just less involved. Like, we don't need them dictating to us what we can and can't do in most circumstances. Otherwise, peaceful people that are engaging in consensual exchange and nobody's getting harmed should be left alone, period. Right. And that should be the main focus of what we allow government to do. And it's also, right now, there's a fundamental paradigm here where people can exist without a government, but a government cannot exist without people. So people are the prime existence, not the government. The government is secondary to the people. And right now we have it backwards, where the government is, in a lot of places and in a lot of cases, it sees itself as more important than the people it's governing. And it's really very problematic, actually.
Yeah, and the mechanism that is achieved is actually the media. So what you guys are doing, decentralizing the media and creating like a citizen journalist movement and voice, is actually the way that you take away the power from the government, because folks are prone to be brainwashed. And if the government has that power to do it and control the airwaves, which it has historically, I think now it's changing, then it becomes too big and it's not in service anymore, to your point.
Right. Yeah, if you look at Washington, D.C., it's like the richest place in America, like per capita. Like, why? Why is that a thing? That's your tell. That's your tell. So, like, once administration gets going, You know, once because this is a Leviathan, right? I mean, when you talk about central banking, when you talk about all of these institutions built up around government, you're talking about an absolute Leviathan. So it's going to be hard to disrupt. It's going to be hard to change. It's not going to happen instantaneously. But the fact is, like, there's so much waste and there's so much fraud and there's so much abuse. And there's literally no reason why the richest place in the United States should be neighborhoods around Washington, D.C., right? I mean, this is supposed to be where your public servants, you know, go and live so they can more effectively provide public service. But clearly it's broken. And the thing is, it's fixable. And to Jacob's point, if you're just watching traditional media and that's your only offering, you're getting the stories that people want you to hear, and no one wants you to hear about the grift. No one wants you to hear about, you know, you don't need to know how the sausage is made. You just need to focus on, oh, look, a chicken, right? Like, you just need to, oh, look, a squirrel here, check this out, go pay attention to this, not to this. Don't pay attention to Leviathan. And that is like the big paradigm shift. Right. So if Bitcoin is money that is based on time and energy, you know, where's the value in decentralized media? Where's the value attached to information? Bitcoin's also a good store of information, right? I mean, ordinals make that perfectly clear. You can store information right on the blockchain. So there's also something to be said for what does decentralized media ultimately look like too, because there's actual value there as well, even if it is just acting as a bulwark against a controlled flow of information.
Well said.
This conversation is, I love this. I love this all day, but I want to get Hattie. So what are, we have the contest here. So why don't you give us a quick rundown of what we're doing with that?
Yeah, so as part of the SIP29 voting, which has already started, we're obviously going to do some fun ways of educating yourself. In other words, you need to educate yourself, and then obviously could lead to a challenge which allows you to be paid. So we obviously have a one-of-one mojo up for grabs for this one. So we're going to have a test today so that people can see what we're talking about. So we're going to have live quizzes. So each day next week.
This isn't the contest for the mojo.
No, this is a test run. Yeah.
This is a test run so you can know, you guys that are watching, that you can know how this works, so that next week when we do these contests, you can possibly win a one-of-one mojo, which is awesome.
Correct. So there'll be a post coming out that explains everything to you. You need to do certain tasks in order to have the ticket to play the game. So to be eligible to take the points away if you first, second, or third in the game. So you get a point for completing the task. You'll get a point depending on where you land up, 1, 2, or 3. And each day we'll have a quiz based on SIP29. So you need to study SIP29 in order to be able to answer the questions in the quiz. And today's a test run of that, not with SIP29 questions, but easier questions that everyone
SIP29 is voting right now.
It is voting right now.
And they can actually scan the QR code here, right there, or go to stx.eco and cast their vote now. Do you want to tell them a little about SIP29?
I think we're going to cover that later on today, aren't we? In the call, the innovation call.
Oh, we can do that as well. We do have the Stacks SIP call at 11 a.m. Eastern time on X with the stacks.org, and Hero Gamer runs that. So we'll talk more about that as well then. Real quick rundown. SIP29 is to align the stacking reward with the Bitcoin halving, the stacking halving with the Bitcoin halving, and it's really just to adjust that so that we're not having a reward halving in the middle of the SBTC launch, just to make things go more smoothly. And then you guys can read more about it. I won't give all the answers to the quiz on the show here.
Correct. So one of the biggest ones is aligning us with Bitcoin, which is really important. It makes it easier for everyone else as well. Yeah.
Right. Emission schedule adjustment.
Correct. So it's making sure that Nakamoto was slightly delayed. It allows us to make sure that everyone easily transitions into what we've done now, where we've passed SBTC. Now we're increasing the emissions to make sure that the miners and everyone else and everyone who's building on stacks can do that easily. And then we'll reduce slowly, which won't affect overall emissions. So overall allocation.
Right. It'll actually result in a slightly lower
Correct.
2050 emission schedule.
Correct, because you'll be lining up with
slightly higher up front, but slightly lower down the line.
Correct. We'll have a high up at the beginning will be high, and then it'll slowly taper off, and we'll eventually end up less than projected.
So how do you want to run the quiz?
Yeah.
Are you ready to go?
I'll set the quiz up. 10 minutes we said, so everyone will have 10 minutes to play.
So the link I have is not the link now, right?
Correct. Sorry, the game timed out. I thought we were doing it straight after the news.
Yeah, my bad. I should have.
No, you're all right.
I was so excited about the awesome panel we have this morning. I lost track.
Okay, I'm sending you the request to share my screen, and then everyone will be able to see it.
All right. Do you have... so there's a QR code, but we're in the way. So let me actually do this.
So if everyone goes to gimkit.com/join, then you'll have an opportunity to enter the code. So the QR code's up as well for those who want to do it from their mobile if they're on desktop.
So that code is the 671676, and that's actually the same code as what would be at the end of the URL.
Can be. Oh, LMNO. Thank you for joining us. First player in.
Oh, hell yeah. My money's on him.
So Jacob, of course, you're welcome to play. Jack.
I'm going to keep myself out.
Okay.
Oh, well, this is just a test anyway, right?
Yeah, anybody can play. There's nothing to... This is just so people can see. Oh, Jack's there. Hero's here. So... Jacob, thank you for joining. Well, now that I know you probably speak German then, Jacob, so I can go Dankeschön.
I do speak German, yes.
Yeah.
Bitteschön.
Oh, what am I doing here?
Leider jeden Tag ist ein Schultag für mich.
Well, your German's pretty good. Actually, my German is pretty rusty at this point.
Oh, okay. My German is permanently rusty.
It's quite a tricky language to learn, actually.
For somebody who speaks English, it is, yeah, because the grammar it's very grammar intense.
It is. It's very convoluted.
Yeah, and you've got a lot of tongue twisters.
Yep, and long words.
Yeah. What's it? I'm trying to think what the longest word is. It's something to do with the ship captain, something or other. I can't remember.
I mean, you can string nouns together, so you can make like endless.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how long you want to wait, Peace, to start the game, because everyone can obviously see.
Well, I'm just waiting for it to start. So I don't know how many people you get in. Are we doing a live improvement call space? Well, the space is live GP, but that's at 11. It's just a space. We're not broadcasting the space live, but we're doing an experiment right now. So I might have joined.
I'm going to join from my side so everyone can see the gameplay, so I can explain it to everyone as well, so they can see both sides to make it easy for everyone. So obviously I'll join and I'll be waiting as well. So everyone will see this. It explains to you what you're waiting for. So each answer you earn some cash. You can purchase upgrades, which I'll show you where those are. which allows you to earn even more cash. And we have 10 minutes. So whoever has the highest, who's earned the highest at the end of the game, ends up winning the game. So we have 10 minutes. So I'll start the game over here. Here's the game running now.
Dollar.
You can see the first person who went to money now from the question. I'm going to go in, and what is the what is the pump down is so I can go to the shop, everyone can see, and you have all of your multipliers that you can upgrade. And then this here. Then go to see also at the bottom. At the bottom, you've also got another tab here, which means you can also, when you can buy further things, you can blur out screens. There's a whole bunch of ways that you can stop your opponents from progressing. So there's ways to do that. There we go.
How many questions is it?
In total, I have 25 questions. So I'm not playing at the moment, but we can see how the money's going, and we can see who's in first place on the slide here as well. So Jacob is taking the lead currently, and we've got there's a timer at the top for everyone as well.
That's pretty cool.
So what we'll be doing is we'll obviously have questions around, excuse me, SIP29, and we'll gamify it. So we could use this for anything. So this is obviously DeOrganized media pushing the boundaries again on how can we interact with our audiences. We can obviously have gameplay now, and we have other games that we can play with as well. But essentially, you take questions and you will then put your questions in here, and then people will go through it. The questions will repeat themselves. The order of the answers will also vary a bit in positioning. But yeah, so I do recommend you go in the background when you have enough money, buy your multipliers, because that increases your earning capacity per question. And then also you have the ways to hinder your opponents. So you can say here, you've got pumpkin pie, you'll pie other players, which means they won't be able to visit the shop for 15 seconds. So it inhibits them from being able to buy upgrades. You can have power-ups, you can double your earnings for 60 seconds, you can outnumber. So there's a whole bunch of things here that you can go into the background and buy. Things do go up in price as the game goes up as well, the same as your questions. So when you do your upgrades, each time you upgrade, the price will go up. So you can see for each level, the price will go up. So you'd need to earn that amount of money in order to acquire that upgrade. So for those who are on mobile, sometimes you're going to have to jump from shop to questions to help you. So I can play the game as well.
You could expand this by tokenizing it for noobs, and just kind of, you could start from the wallet on, right? And you could just tokenize the whole thing, let them get their DeOrganized test tokens or what have you, and then we can maybe, I don't know, we could maybe take and make a merch store, and you get a discount based on your token, how many tokens you have. We'll see if we can tokenize pieces, merch out pieces hair or something.
It's all shiny and soft from all the zest in my hair, if you ask off my lawn.
So yeah. So
I'm making lots of money.
Yep. So again, remember to go into the store. Remember to buy your upgrades, which then allow you to earn more money per question. So anybody who's joined us, the code is over here. So you just need to go to gimkit.com and at the top it'll say join, and then from there you can enter in the code and you'll be able to join the game. So we're halfway through the game now, and Jacob is still very much in the lead. Number 2 is very far behind. So Hero's not that far off number 2. Peace is a little way off. Jack somehow disappeared.
Yeah, my ADD got the best of me.
You thought you're going to trade real time in the background for actual money. You're not looking for this internet money. You're looking for the real internet money.
Yeah,
Peace has hopped right up to number 1. I think it's because Jacob has bought something.
Yes.
So you're gonna skyrocket very quickly, I assume. You're a multiplier 4 already. Hero Gamer's upgraded as well. So we also can see everyone upgrading. Peace is up to 3 as well. There we go. Jacob's overtaken. It's probably going to skyrocket now. Oh, Hero Gamer moving up. So I could be super cheeky now as the host, and I could freeze Jacob if I wanted to. Would you like that, Jacob? Would you like to be iced?
Well, it would make it more interesting.
Okay, there we go. Jacob, the teacher, has iced Jacob. Oh, the power I have.
I'll be back.
So let's see if can Peace make a dent.
We need more questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've already answered all of these questions twice.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's a good test for the 10 minutes, where the 5 minutes is probably better as gameplay. But I just did a test run of 25 questions.
No, it's a great educational tool.
Yeah, it's cool.
There's lots of potential here.
Well, this is about getting people educated with SIP, because one of the biggest things is we have 3 parts we'd like to cover in the SIP. Is education, so making sure people understand what the SIP is about, so having relevant questions. The second one is getting people out to vote, so they feel they're educated and they know what the vote's about and why it's important to the ecosystem, that we have their involvement. And then obviously the last one is having fun. So, because it creates community. So
Okay, when do I win? When I reach 10,000?
No, when the time's up.
How much time is it? It feels like it's been 10 minutes.
It's almost 10 minutes, yeah. We got at the top, you can see it's got 1 minute 20 we've got left.
Oh, I don't see that.
Oh, okay.
I don't see it either.
Let me jump to mine and see if it tells you. No, it doesn't. Okay. So we'd have to call it out then. Okay, fair enough. So we've got 1 minute left now. So Jacob is double Peace at the. Oh, maybe not. Peace is coming back. So I don't know if you.
Oh no, I answered one wrong.
Now you've lost it. Okay.
I'm done.
Maybe. You're very close to Jacob, so okay, you spent. Okay. Jacob is 7,000, almost 8,000 now. So I think his multipliers are a lot higher than yours now.
All right.
So Jacob, congratulations with $8,295. Clearly
Where can I get my cash?
I'm telling you, the Peace is going to shave his head. You'll get your prize in about a month. Just here.
So,
no, that's really cool. That's a good initiative, and it'll be fun for people. Because I don't know if you've been watching like the different videos coming across social media. You know, you've got the brand noobs here, right? And they're primarily like right now the route is from Coinbase or Robinhood or what have you to like they're immediately degenning on Solana tokens, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of like how back in the day when I got on, you know, I went straight to like Bittrex. Right, like I was like, okay, cool. And then you know, you further degen and the Trade Ogre and all these different other, you know. So you're seeing that, but you're still seeing that it's still people, and they're still brand new, and they're still have so much to learn. And I saw some people talking about like Stacks price action earlier, and it's like, look, man, like you got to think about Stacks right now is like a alt, right? More so than you know what it actually is. If you're just going to conceptualize it as an alt. And when Bitcoin's running like this, you know, it very, very rarely does it do anything but just suck all the attention and liquidity out of the room, right? And so people going to find out. It's just a matter of this is cycles within cycles within cycles, man. You know, but this is cool. This would be a good way for when we start getting the new people coming around and learning about, especially the SIP process, because most people don't understand what the difference between just a software company and a decentralized, you know, entity is. And so the SIP is kind of like the backbone of that, right? I mean, that's why that process is in place. So this is cool.
It was super easy to play. It was very fast. You know, the website moved quickly. So I definitely think that it's a fun experience. 10 minutes might be more than we need for those episodes, but it depends on how many players we have too. And we can always kind of play around with it, see where we go. But I definitely think that's a cool, fun way to do SIP education, you know, and get some more awareness about that stuff. And, you know, we can apply it to a bunch of other stuff too. So
there's more gameplay as well. That's just one aspect. That's Tycoon. So there's other different types of games we can play. But I don't know. Like your feedback is awesome to figure out if this is really worth. Because I think we want to try and push the boundaries as DeOrganized media. Like we want to push the boundaries of how we can do engagement.
I think it's a much better way to have a contest than doing like a Zeely campaign or something like that. Personally, I just think that it's more functional for this medium, you know, for where we are, because it's a visual medium and we can get people in, we can talk to who's watching, you know, we are getting engagement. So I think it's a fun thing to do, and if we can reward people at the same time, I mean, yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
I'm keen to hear it. Yeah. Then
you get the AI integration, because that's really cool. Like if you're paying attention to the AI stuff with tokens right now, that's really cool. I would start eyeing that immediately. I mean, that's what we're kind of doing right now too. It's you could there's so much you could do with DeOrganized with AI now, much less what you're going to be able to do with it, you know, 3 months from now.
Yeah.
Oh, the tier that with how quickly AI is developing and the tools you can do with it. I mean, just the stuff that Michael's coming up with Mike Jagdeo, Blockface is insane. Really great. And I'm sure that's just the tip of the iceberg for a lot of the other stuff that's coming out with it. Hero said he likes that he thinks that the repeating questions helps, and that's probably true for actually getting the information we want the participants to walk away with. You know, if we're repeating those, like those core group of questions actually probably makes sense for
these questions are really easy, like just to help. I mean, even a noob coming in, those questions might be difficult because they'll think, I don't know what this is. They won't know terminology. They won't know what all these acronyms stand for. So it's really helping them on board into what we're talking about. And then they understand more of the ecosystem and what people are saying. But
yeah, I wonder if there's even some way to incorporate that into an onboarding, like just an onboarding piece, you know, getting people like just getting them some access to wallets, how to use their wallet, how to set up a wallet and all that stuff, and integrating that information to them, and then
how to get a Medica and how to buy and purchase.
Yeah, we could do that too. We could absolutely do that.
People need stable coins.
And how do you pay out real USDH as a price?
Seriously, we could absolutely do that. Like, you know, the winner gets $5 even, you know, or something like that, or you know, whatever.
Well, if you put out a video, and then you put out videos and they watch the videos, and then you have an end of that. There's a do your study and then come for the quiz.
Yeah. You could do that for feature projects on the podcast for sure. That'd be a lot of fun. You know, you have, whether it's an NFT or, you know, USDH or, you know, whatever token or what have you. You know, hey, if you hang out till the end, you take the quiz, complete the quiz. You know, here's your prize pool. You could have a lot of fun with this.
Yep. Totally.
Very cool. I love it, Hattie. Well done.
Yeah. So one of the features as well I wanted to mention so that everyone's heard it is that you'll need to use your Twitter handle when you put your name in, so it's easy for us to find you.
No, that's really cool, man. Very, very, very cool. And it's necessary because they are coming. You know, they're here. I mean, the people are just brand new, and it's easy for us to forget how much we know relative to how much we didn't know when we started. So anything you can do to help make people understand, help people learn, the better. You know, you want to shorten that phase between where you're just, you know, okay, I'm going to get rich quick, to like, oh, this is what this is actually about. You know, that's what you want to get.
Well, I mean, if people are super interested in it and we find enough people who want to help onboard people, it could be a weekly quiz. You can run it in the background and people just go in and play it. And whoever's number one at the end of the week is the winner, whoever has the most points. So it could run for the entire week. And then on Fridays, we can announce who the winner is, or on a Monday morning.
Maybe we could even fund it with some bot trap.
That was funny. People
I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to do with it.
If you game it, they will game it.
Yeah. It's like, do not buy this. This is a bot trap. Green buttons.
Well, and I just frustrated that. So the point was to try to just mint it, buy 50 stacks worth of the supply, and then dump on the bots. And I'm like, why can't my orders are failing? My orders are failing. And I didn't realize until well after, I think it still scared the bots out because there was a bug. So whatever in the process of how I set up the token, I had changed the supply after I put the amount of buy I wanted, and I hadn't put the image in. So something with putting the image in let me change the token amount, but didn't change the amount, the actual amount, not the percentage. So it went from buying 3% of the supply for 50 stacks to like 47% of the supply because I dropped it from 100 billion to 69 million. Because of course it's just a goof. So I'm like, yeah, 69 is the number we want on this supply number. It's a meme token and totally just don't want, it's just goofy. So I couldn't sell because I held 47% of the supply. Of course I couldn't sell. So it was it didn't work right. But now I'm sitting here with 47% of the supply of this token, and I got to do something with it. So maybe it'll become the reward token for some of these contests.
It'll be lore. If anything, it'll be lore. You know, it's now a part of PeaceLoveMusic's lore, regardless.
Yeah, it was fun. You know, it was fun, and it was goofy because we did it. You know, we did it during the Spaces event too. So it was like a bunch of people like talking about it while we were doing it, and getting goofy with it. So it was fun. But anyway, I was just bringing it up because I'm thinking of what token we can just give away for that type of thing without volunteering Rue, because I knew that Jack would. So nothing new on that front yet, Jack.
What, with Rue? Oh,
with
dude, there's so much going on right now. We were able to take our runes and get them over to the stack side. The Stacks Invaders runes claim will be live today. Set up, contracts paused at the moment, airdrops coming. Bitflow, they're tweaking everything on their end to make sure the UI is just excellent for when the pool's open and everything, and it's fun. And I'll be telling you guys about Joey here shortly, because that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like you're finally gonna hear what Joey does.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, but it's fun. And so again, like the longer you have to before everything gets nuts, at least on the stack side, the better, because you have a lot of stuff coming, and we want to onboard our community that we have now, and we want to onboard people as they come. And just get everyone ready to learn about what Bitcoin layers are, why they're important, and what's this going to look like. Where's the value? Learn how to find the value. I think right now the value is in Bitcoin layers. I think the value is in AI. If I held a significant amount of ETH, I would be really anxious right now. But I mean,
what should I do with my ETH?
Hold it, just hold it. I don't think anything's going to happen to ETH. It's but it's just frustrating watching it,
Right. Should have turned it into stacks, actually.
Yeah, but what bothers me, man, I just hate XRP. I hate it. Like
it got up again yesterday too.
Yeah, you shouldn't, right? But I just don't like what Ripple's about, So I just, and then.
There's people, so some of the normies in my world that have gotten into crypto without talking to me about it ended up in XRP. Yeah. And while I don't hate on them, like I try to encourage them with it. Maybe it'll come, I don't want to tell them to get out of it, because what the hell do I know? Maybe I don't want to tell them to get out of it and then have it run, right? I don't know. But I mean, I think that they're going to be disappointed. I mean, they've been very disappointed. I mean, shit, it was $3 in December of 2017, for fuck's sake. We're still halfway. They're still only halfway back to their all-time high from 7 years ago. That sucks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They spent all those years just dumping on their holders. Just absolutely dumping on them. But it is what it is. You can't hate.
Cardano sucks too. But I have a bag of Cardano that I'm hoping to get out from under as well.
Yeah, but I'm really excited about what we have going on here. I'm super bullish on Hermetica. I think that USDH is going to blow minds when people really understand it and really understand like the importance of a stable in general. And then the importance of a stable that is based on Bitcoin, that allows you to stop relying so much on your traditional stable systems that we have. And so it's introducing more competition. It'll introduce more innovation. But you won't be too long now. You'll be trading runes and USDH, and I am super excited to see that, dude.
Yeah,
I'm so
soon.
about that.
Soon it's happening. Yeah, and in general, we need more stables in all of stacks, and we're working hard to make that happen on our side, because there's like 1.3 million of USDC right now in stacks, which is like basically nothing. And yeah, we need to change that. We're doing our part. I think there's room for a lot of stables. I think there's different flavors, and they're all interesting, especially obviously the big ones. But for us, it's like, yeah, we give you the alternative to, if you want to hold a stable, but actually you're still holding Bitcoin, but it's a stable value of Bitcoin. That's what USDH is, right? And then obviously there's a very attractive yield to it as well. And it's what I hold in my portfolio, right? I don't want to go out of Bitcoin. I don't trust the financial system on fiat that much. A little bit you have to, because you have to transact on it. But I want to stay in Bitcoin as much as I can. And that's why I created USDH actually for myself to some degree. And yeah, I'm curious to see how it develops with the Ruins pool. That's going to be fun to see, and all the cool stuff that is coming. It's live on Zest now, so you can actually borrow it. You can provide it on Zest. You can borrow it against your stacks.
Oh, that's right. You guys just launched on Zest a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, exactly. On Wednesday went live, and SPTC. Then you will be able to actually, do what you said earlier, where I was cautious, and you have to be cautious, but you can do it. You can keep your Bitcoin, and you can borrow a stable coin, which is still Bitcoin, against that, and do some stuff with it, sell it, buy other meme coins, or stake it with us and earn a yield. So there's just like all these Legos coming together, right? Like the Ruins meme coins are coming on. There's all these cool elements coming onto this space, and I think that we'll have a lot of fun moving forward, and hopefully onboard a bunch of new people, because we definitely need more folks to come in and experience what we're building for it to grow.
100%.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I have to do it because he's my homie and I love him to death. But GPSC wants us to shout out to shout out Joe Exotic and
the Tiger King.
The Tiger King, and maybe he needs to bring his I think it Mark Killa Mark from the Peptoshi himself was actually got him to respond, I think, on Twitter. Yeah. I think I saw earlier today. So maybe we can get him into the Stacks ecosystem with his meme token. That'd be really great. That would be really great.
Yeah, he had a Solana, Tiger King token, basically, right? And yeah, so like now the goal is to get him to release one on STX City. I think that'd be pretty funny. I think we should call it that bitch Carol Baskin.
I like it. We could just mint that right now. Maybe that'll bring me here.
Yeah, that's the fun part, though, man. And again, that's the part that just always interests me so much. You're seeing it right there. Like, what was Tiger King really? It was the show that everyone watched when they got locked down, right? At least in America, right? It was a show everyone watched during the lockdown. So what is it really? It's culture. And now you see that culture influencing crypto, and you see the crypto influencing culture. That's just a microcosm of what's happening and what's going to continue to happen and expand in these next few years as crypto becomes more mainstream. But that's what makes it just so cool. Like, how could you not be just inordinately fascinated by this, right? I mean, it's just it's absolutely brilliant.
I actually missed it. I don't watch anything, but Haro says he watched it. So
I've never seen it either. But yeah, I don't watch.
I've never seen it.
Yeah,
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it became like this huge cultural phenomenon, right? And so it's just and again, like, that guy exists basically in everyone's public consciousness because of a huge cultural event that was the pandemic lockdowns, right? So it's just I don't know, it's just cool to see how this works. I mean, and now if that show had released under normal circumstances, who would have watched it? Maybe, right? It might have not got any attention, but it became like this huge gigantic thing on the internet. And now, you got that guy releasing meme tokens. In an original tweet, he was calling out Andrew Tate, right? To say, hey, buy, you want to You want to ape into something, ape into this, basically.
Oh,
And
is
then
that
you
what
get-
he did? He was tagged Andrew Tate.
And then you have, Stacks degens being like, no, release this on SDX City. But it's it's just funny, dude. It's really culturally, like, everything's changing, and financially everything's changing, and politically, hopefully everything's going to change. And how can you not just be extraordinarily excited about this?
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. So I've had you, I want to be respectful of everybody's time, and I want you guys to come back and talk with me again. So I want to make it easy to end the show, because I'll just talk forever. This is a curse I have. Even when I'm dealing with real estate clients, we're talking after a showing, and I have them there for an hour because I just talk and I ask questions that get responses. So we've had you guys for an hour and a half. Super great conversation. I loved it, and let everyone have a last word before we wrap up for the day. Hattie.
Oh, okay, I'll go first. I thought we were going to let our guests go first. Okay, I'll take it then. I wanted to say, Jack, thank you for coming on today again. And I think let's make communities great again. I think that's what we need to strive to do. So that's one of the mottos. All roads lead to Vegas. And Jacob, thank you very much for coming on today and talking with us and playing the game. It was amazing. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Absolutely. I can go next. Always a pleasure to hang out with you guys. I'll be back and we can chat more about the mysteries of the world. Jack, always a pleasure. We'll be dropping some off soon. Yeah.
Your Twitter handle is Jacob_BTC.
Yes, sir. That's right, with a K. Jacob _BTC. Hit me up there. Let me know if you ever use USDH, what you think, and how we can get better. And yeah, looking forward to Vegas. We're actually planning something ourselves, and I'll send out the invites. It will involve cigars, most likely.
Let's go.
I'm a big poker player. I used to be a professional poker player back in the day, so I'm very excited for Vegas.
If it's not too big of a pot, I'll happily play with you and give you my money.
I mean, my pots tend to be quite big, but there's actually the World Series at the same time. It was
wow,
well timed. So I'll be playing that most likely, and I can't wait.
Very cool.
Oh, awesome. That's wicked cool. Hattie, Hattie, I want to make sure I got yours right. It's Brendan, Brendyn Hadfield. I'm only getting those because our new friend Andrew Rocket asked to drop everyone's handles in the ticker, so probably getting a few follows.
Okay.
From he's not. We're already friends, so he doesn't need mine. But yeah, Jack, what do you got for us, man?
No, look, let's bring this home over 100K. We have, like I said, we have a lot of cooking going on the Stacks ecosystem. I would tell people to just hang tight. Like, Bitcoin's got to do its thing. It's going to do its thing. And ultimately, at the end of the day, SBTC is going to be a massive unlock. This is going to drive further and further innovation throughout the space, not just Stacks. And if you're not paying attention to what Rue's doing, if you're interested in community, if you're interested in tokens, if you're interested in learning about this stuff, you should probably come check us out. And I'm just looking forward to doing this again, guys. Looking forward to Vegas. I think there's going to be some cool stuff going on of that for sure.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys all so much for coming out. Y'all have a blessed weekend. I am PeaceLoveMusic. We are DeOrganized Media, coming at you with our good friends at BitcoinLive, Decentralized Broadcasting. And it's Friday. Get into the weekend, finish the week strong, and remember to touch grass tomorrow and Sunday. Put it down, take a breath, and we'll be back at you. But finish the day strong. We got the SIP call at 11, a bunch of other shows going on. Check out the calendar. Check out the Stacks calendar, Miss Geck calendar, and support your community. I love you all. Have a blessed rest of your day. Peace out.